This is Lisa Tucker, host of The Book Cover, which showcases local literary personalities. So listen to The Book Cover on the borderline. And remember, don't judge a book by its cover. Hi, you're listening on The Borderline. This is The Book Cover. I'm Lisa Tucker, and I'm here with a repeat offender again, Doug Thompson. Thank you so much for joining us, Doug.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. And the silent partner who is sitting with us, who says she won't be saying anything, is his lovely wife, Susan. You don't have to say anything, Susan, but I just have to acknowledge your presence, that you're here. So I get the 2 for 1, and I enjoy that. So Doug, last time we were just talking, and the last time, it was almost a year ago, I guess, that we saw each other, or we talked to each other in the spring of 2025, and you had already had A New Way Forward. But now you have enhanced that series, The New Way Forward, or you're compiling it together. So tell me what the difference is between then and now with this series.
Back then I had the starter book, book 1.
Yes.
A spiritual approach to old ideas. And it had been my first experience producing a book in coordination with my guide.
Yep.
And I was here talking about it, and hopefully that more would be following. Well, more have followed. It has produced 2 main books, book 1 and then book 2, which is a understanding of spiritual concepts. And then it took subjects from each of the books and produced a smaller book, for example, on manifestation, reincarnation, death and dying, and your energy systems.
Well, and I'm really curious about book 3, because manifestation is huge right now. It's kind of a buzzword, and I know you don't care whether it's a buzzword or not. This is what you're passionate about. Whether it's a buzzword or not, you'd still be passionate about it. But the manifestation. So tell me why you pick these specific things. Specifically, let's talk about manifestation. Why did you pick those things out of your first 2 books?
Well, I have to give credit where credit is due. It was my guide.
Your guide.
So
tell me about your guide.
Okay, my guide. I've been channeling this guide for many years, and for a while we stopped. There was limited communication for a while, and then finally Anthony one day woke me up and said, "I've got a book for you to write." And so that was the first book. And when we finished the second book, he said, those gave an introduction to each of the subjects that are important to people out there. As you mentioned, manifestation. Mm-hmm. He said, we need to produce a greater detail book for the people who want to go beyond what was written in the first and second book. Okay. So that was the reason that those extra 4 came, and there may be more in the future, but nothing happening right now. Okay,
so I want to get into, I want to, now you're sparking my reminder of, because we did talk about Anthony in our first interview.
Yes.
Now remind me, what kind of entity, do you feel like he's a spiritual guide? Do you feel like he's an angel? Do you feel like he is somebody that has passed on, who has lived? What is your impression of Anthony?
He's a spiritual guide.
He is a spiritual guide.
Yes.
And have you always been able to communicate or get communications from Anthony throughout your whole life?
No. I say not consciously.
Okay.
When the time occurred that he broke through, I was in a state of real stress and a lot of difficulty in my life, and he stepped in and was a refreshing
when you needed him.
When I needed him. I feel that prior to that, if you knew the background of my life, you'd understand. I believe he was there, and he was pushing me in the right directions, or encouraging. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so when he said, we're going to write this book, I said, okay.
And you've never written before book number 1.
That was the first one.
Now, see, that would be like somebody saying to me, like, I've got different, I feel like I've got people that talk to me as well. And it's like one of those people saying, okay, you know what? You are going to build a car. That would be like someone saying to me, build a car. Like, it would be very daunting and scary. Did you experience those as well?
Not quite. It was more the word confusing. He just said, sit down and write. So I sat down and the words came through and the concepts came through. They were concepts that I had never given any consideration to, especially in manifestation and death. That was entirely new. So I put down the ideas, but he did not dictate the book. He dictated concepts and would, in the middle of the conversation, change to another subject.
Okay.
It was
So
not.
your guide has ADHD.
Yeah, basically. So
Poor guy. Okay.
So what I had to do was take a break and then try to reorganize the thoughts into the books that they are.
Okay.
So it was a lot of filler and writing and readjusting and making it fit. The key concepts, when I slept, I often had long conversations to understand what the concept means, or that was Anthony filling in the spaces, I guess.
Yeah. And did you have to do much research about the concepts, or did everything you get?
Nothing in there is from another source.
Okay.
Everything is from Anthony. And I know some of it will be controversial to some people because, and Anthony said, and it says in the book, if you're comfortable with what you believe now, then that's fine.
Yes.
We're not encouraging you to change your views. But if you find that you're lacking or you need more information, here's one source that is giving you some. He also said, if you read it, if it's something that's important for you, but not right at this moment, 10 years from now, that idea may suddenly, you'll discover that it's in there.
Yeah. And I really believe that these sort of ideas or prompts came from something else, because now we spoke about it. You're going to be 79 years old.
Yes.
Happy birthday. And these concepts are not something that you would have learned 79 years ago. You wouldn't have grown up learning about manifestation and reincarnation. You wouldn't have, these are almost a new age, these are new age concepts. So yeah, go ahead. You have a comment.
Well, first, New Age is a misdemeanor.
Yes,
right?
you're right.
It's the wrong term.
Yeah.
I, as a child, had dreams of being a native child.
Okay.
And an adult, a native adult. I now know that, in fact, it was not a past life that I personally led, but it may be the memories of a past life that somebody else led.
Okay.
That's where the past life reincarnation, it differs from what the most common view is, that you're reborn. Well, what is reborn? In this book, it says what's reborn are the memories that you put into storage. And it's called reincarnation, your spiritual gift, because your guide, when you're in womb and you're getting ready to be born, can choose memories to instill in you that will come out when you need them.
Do you think we share consciousness? Do you think at some point you and I will share, maybe beyond this life, we'll share?
Not a consciousness in the sense of the human sense.
Right. That's what I mean. That's what I mean after.
Your spirit will go on to something else.
Yes.
Because the spirit is not you.
Okay.
Right? It's attached to you
Yes.
to guide you and help you and give you a path and all the wonderful things that the spirit does. I think where your consciousness is shared, and it might not be with me, but with someone else, are those memories. Because the memories, they're made up of emotional events, and as they're stored, the energy which keeps them fresh and emotional are your energy. So every memory has you attached to it. So when it's transferred to someone else, that memory is transferred to somebody else, the emotion goes with it so that they can experience. I use as an example, if you think about how women have changed their roles in life. A century ago, women were downtrodden in many ways, right?
Possessions.
You were possessions.
Yeah.
And a lot suffered pain and agony and the bruises, and they still are to some degree. But all of a sudden, there was a mad change in society. People started changing their ideas, started supporting women. It took time, but it happened. Why did it happen? And Anthony said it's because the memories of those people were given as gifts to men and women being born. And that's how society has advanced over the centuries. Memories from past events have made them say never again.
Okay. So to help us.
Yeah.
It's to help.
The whole idea is to advance
Okay.
humankind.
Now, these books, from what I understand, they were a therapy for you. Would you say that?
Yes.
And did you want to talk about how they helped you?
Okay. I can't go in.
You don't need to go into detail.
I won't go into detail.
No, don't if you don't want to.
I served with the Canadian Forces for 28 years.
Thank you for your service, sir.
I was never in a war zone. I mean, I went to Cyprus and Syria, and the occasional person got damaged or hurt. Yeah. But I was involved in some very serious incidents in Canada, in the military. Mm-hmm. And I have PTSD. Okay. And when I was released from the armed forces, there was no such thing. They just told you to go away.
And this is how long ago?
93.
1993. Okay, yeah.
These books have made me understand my spiritual center. These books have made me realize the things that were in the back of my mind, for example, the reincarnation, which I never really connected to, are memories of somebody else's experience, but that forms a type of reincarnation.
Yeah.
So yes, it's made me a lot more spiritual.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I can see that for sure.
It's helped make me more aware of other people and their issues and how they can be helped. And I want to stress that one of the main purposes of this book is to point out of these books is to point out what is spiritual and what isn't. Mm-hmm. Spirituality, according to Anthony, is an action. You can have a thought about somebody which is, you would say, not very spiritual because you're mad at them or you don't like them. But if you don't take action, you don't proclaim it, or you don't take some action that hurts them, the mind, the consciousness just lets go of it, and it doesn't affect your level of spirituality because we don't really control our subconscious in that sense. But if you say something that is hurtful, or if you do something which is, that is affecting your spirituality. Likewise, if you help somebody, not for credit, but to help them, you grow in spirituality.
And I understand that because I say a lot to people, there was a situation where I was nice to somebody who wasn't nice to me. And I remember telling my friends, they're saying, well, why are you nice to that person? Why are you nice to that person? I say, because I have to wake up every morning and I have to look at myself in the mirror and I have to be at peace with myself. And that is sort of what you're saying there. It just the fact it's, in elementary schools, they call it filling your bucket. Yeah. When somebody's mean to you, they take from your bucket. But if you're nice to somebody who's mean to you, you're filling your own bucket,
That's so true.
Yeah.
And instantly when you do something which is unkind or unspiritual, and instantly when you do something which is spiritual, you just have that feeling of joy or
lightness.
And lightness.
Yeah.
So the books have done that for me, and the intent is to present ways that people can experience the same thing.
Yeah.
There is one other area which I know is controversial, and that is people think some people are evil or bad. And they say, how can a child die so young or such? But in most cases, the books say it's because they chose that, the spirit chose that. So if you don't experience something which is negative, you don't appreciate the positive.
Absolutely.
And
100%.
we need examples of what is negative, and sometimes some spirits volunteer. That's the best way of putting it.
I understand. I completely understand. If our life was good all the time, how would we appreciate the goodness?
Yeah. It's like I was asked by one woman, how can you say that it's necessary for a mother to lose their child? And after we talked, she agreed that, in fact, the parents often become better parents for their other children than they would have been without that loss in their life.
And maybe coming to the conclusion that child in its spirit form chose that destiny makes it easier for the parents to I can't
Accept
imagine.
it.
Yeah, and I can't imagine. I had a really very good friend lose a child, and some people were saying, "Oh, there's a reason for anything," and we were always so angry. It was just so angry. But when you put it that way, there's a more of a relief that control wasn't taken away. That spirit in that child had control.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes me feel better about lots of things.
So the first two books discuss all sorts of possibilities. Like in the first book, it talks about consciousness. It talks about types of dreams. It talks about lucid events and so forth, because they're the things that people believe. So it's looking at old ideas.
Right.
The second book is taking new approach to concepts that people may not thought of, that it's spiritual, or they give spirituality too much credit. There's a lot of people who think that projection from your body or talking to a spirit guide is spiritual. No, that's just your physical being opening up to another entity. What you do with it is spiritual.
I see. Yeah, I get that.
So, for example, one area which I know is going to cause a little bit of conversation with some people, I've already had some, and that's the one where it deals with your energy systems. And I have dealt with energy work. I've dealt with auras and chakras. And
I have my first degree Reiki.
Yeah. Susan's a Reiki master.
Okay.
And we believe in the power of energy work.
Yes.
The only thing that Anthony is saying is, the unfortunate thing is people have grown used to treating chakras or treating meridians through meridians or reading auras. They should all be done all at the same time, because they all are part of one system. And the way most teachers teach now, it's individual treatments, individual systems.
They need a more holistic approach.
Yes, they do.
Okay, I see.
The going back to your favorite manifestations.
Yeah.
That's controversial, not because all these different systems you see out there, putting a sticker on the mirror and saying every day I'm going to win $1 million, or having a board, a vision board. They can work if you're really fortunate. You just happen to do the right things in the right order. But in fact, Anthony says, you're violating a lot of rules. So, and the reason being is, when you are trying to manifest, you say it, what you want or what you're demanding. You say it with all the intention and emotion you've got. You'll never repeat that. Every time you look at that note on the board and say, well, I'd like $1 million, but I'll take 100,000 instead. Or I'll take, if I get a free ticket, that'd be a delight. You're destroying the manifestation.
Yeah.
You're
settling for less.
You're settling for less.
Yeah.
And that's normal, because you cannot maintain a high level of emotion over and over. And Anthony says the biggest mistake is repetition. And so many people teach repetition. You should say it once with great passion.
Quality over quantity.
Yes. And it works. Believe me, Susan manifests wonderful things. I manifested real shocks.
Shocks?
Yeah. Surgery and...
Oh, I don't want to manifest surgery.
No, you don't. But the thing is, you have to be careful what you ask for.
You might get it.
Yeah. I wanted out of a job. We won't go into the job. But
Okay.
I wanted out of a job, and I looked one night up at the stars and I said, universe, I want out of this job by Christmas. It was July. And I want to be healthy. Thank goodness I said that. I thought I'd get another job. I got ill, got surgery. By Christmas, they had told me I couldn't work there anymore.
Oh, my goodness.
And my life moved on and it got better. So you do have to be careful. And you've also got to accept time.
Yes.
There's one other barrier, which is a good barrier, except in your conscious mind. It's maybe not. And that is, if you've got something that you have decided you want to do as a spiritual person, you may not get your wish because it interferes with what your goal was. And people forget what they've asked for before.
Yeah.
And some people wait 10 years to get their manifestation, because it has to be right.
It's so interesting because I'm taking what you're saying and I'm applying it to my own life, of course, because it's the only perception I have, right? And I'm thinking, how many things have I sort of put in my mind and worried about and thought about, and then all of a sudden a door opens up. Now, was that just luck or was that manifesting?
Nothing is luck.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
You manifest. Everyone manifests on a daily basis. You create your breakfast. You create your situation that day, who you're going to bump into and see, the disagreements you could have or you could not have. All that's there. That is just your daily life and you're living. The manifestation we're talking about is conscious manifestation. And that is where you say, okay, life is great, but I want a horse. And you manifest a horse. Unfortunately, you didn't manifest the stable, so now you're stuck with a horse.
So now
right?
A horse in your backyard.
That's why you got to be careful what you ask for.
Right. Well, just because you're saying be careful what you ask for, it's funny because I would always say, as a mom, my husband worked almost every day when I had two young little people, and I always said, the only way I'm going to get a break is with hospitalization. Oh, I'd love a couple of days in the hospital. I would love a couple of days in the hospital. I just need a break. I want to sleep. I want to just relax. I want to have somebody bring me food. Well, don't I get to spend 2 months in the hospital?
Yeah.
But I didn't want to spend 2 months in the hospital.
But you weren't specific enough.
I was not specific. So I spent 2 months in the hospital and people brought me my food and I could sleep when I wanted. And but it wasn't really what I wanted. It wasn't, because I'd always joke. I'd say, I just need a couple of days in the hospital. I just need to be, admitted just for a couple of days.
But you said it with emotion.
I did say it with emotion.
Yeah. That is the key. Emotion. Being
as almost a joke.
Emotion.
But not a joke. Is that the only way I'm going to get a break?
The other thing about manifestation is people say, and I've gone to some of these courses just out of curiosity and before I learned all about manifestation, and they would say, you've got to love the person that you're wishing it for or love this event. And Anthony said, no, you don't. A person who is angry and disturbed and hateful and you name it can manifest as easily as anyone else. All they have to be is emotional about what they want.
Okay. It doesn't matter if it's love or hate. It just has to be strong.
Strong. Now, love tends to be the strongest, especially when you're talking about protection or living with someone. But anger can be really strong. Hate can be really strong. And those people, they live life too. They can manifest also. So don't fool yourself into you're asking for something, but you don't love it. Well, no.
Sometimes it comes.
Sometimes it comes because you're expressing it, and then you never change it. You think this, you express it, and then you say, oh, well, I'll forget about that. But you haven't told the universe to forget about it.
Got it. I have a question. Does everybody have an Anthony?
Yes. Every child is born with a guide. And other guides come during life as needed. Basically, it's the guide who is going to stay with you from start to end and will separate from the spirit because your spirit is encased in your body and it's got limitations. But Anthony can go off and talk to another guide or whatever. You can also bring in guides who will teach you things. They're there for a very specific but short period. Guides do not have a gender.
Yeah.
They give you a name that relates to you. So if you're a woman who really don't like men, then you're not. It'd be why would you?
Yeah.
The guide will present as a female.
You're right. So interesting. I often, I feel like I do have guides. I feel like I do have even more than one to sort of guide me. Or my thing is. A song that I hadn't heard since the 70s will pop in my head. I have not heard it in decades and decades and decades. A song just came in my head a couple mornings ago. It came out in 1960. So I was born in 1970. So I may have heard it on CKCY back in the early 70s. I hadn't heard it since. It pops in my head. I know the words. And then I played it, and I'm thinking, this song is really relaxing me. It's just like some weird disco song, But I often think, are my spirit guides putting these songs in my head because they know that I pay attention to that? They know I pay attention to music, right? So if this music pops into my head, maybe they're not even trying to tell me anything, but hey, I'm here.
Well, a guide can talk to you and does talk to you constantly, trying to give you advice. It cannot tell you what to do. It cannot say you need to cross the street. Mm-hmm. No, you can say, I think you would suggest that you walk across the street. But it cannot make you choose not to. I've had guides say, you sure you want to walk down that dark alley? And I've said yes. And things then progress. Mm-hmm. So you're taking the matter into your own hands. Your consciousness makes the final decision. That's the difference between having a whisper in your mind from your consciousness saying, ooh, this is a scary thing, and recognizing that it says you should go inside. If it says go inside and you take that as an order, that's not your guide telling you, that's your consciousness. Okay. And sometimes that's what you need. But other times, if you just get a suggestion and it's almost like a whisper in the back of your mind, that can be your guide saying...
Gut feelings?
Gut feelings, yeah.
Yeah.
But they never give you specific direction. You're on your life path. Your life is bound by your consciousness and your choices.
That's good to know too. I mean, it is and it's not. Sometimes people that don't trust themselves to make the right decisions may not feel very safe in that.
No, but they often get the most choices because they have to learn. Right?
Yeah.
And if the guide did everything for you, made all the choices for you, you would learn nothing.
That is right.
What is the purpose of life for mankind? Anthony says it's to have experiences, strong emotional experiences, so that the universe can use those to help the next generation become better.
I believe 100%. I was just going to say it's to experience everything as much as we can. And I always think that this is why I always thought I had a really good spirit guide, because even as a child, I was always very adventurous. And I would always say, like, even in my teen years, in my early 20s, I'd say, I want to do everything I can, because when I'm an older, more mature senior sitting in a rocking chair, I want to be able to smile back and say, I did that. And I've always had that in my mind. I always want to try this. I want to try this. I want to try, as long as it's not like, I'm not like sticking daggers in my eye because I want to feel how that feels. Like, fun things. Yeah. Like I've jumped out of airplanes. I've done this. I've done, I've traveled and did all. And it's because I've always wanted to be able to say, I did that. And maybe it's my spirit guide. Maybe like in another life, I didn't do that. Or maybe in another sphere or another whatever, I didn't do that. So these experiences are coming to me now and saying, do it when you can. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's how I feel.
You see, you didn't have another life.
Okay, I knew you were going to say that.
But you do have the memories of another life.
Of another life, yes.
And those memories may not have provided you with the opportunities you have now. So you feel the difference, because those memories to you are your memories.
Yes.
Because they come to you with energy and passion.
Yes.
So, yes. But remember, the guide will not tell you to go jump out of an airplane.
No.
He'll just say, maybe you should think about this.
Well, see, that's good, because I don't like being told what to do. So that's very smart of my guide. Now, so these are all all 6 books are being published at once.
Yes, by Tacoma Press.
Tacoma Press, Brian Davies. And where will they be available?
Through his website.
TagonaPress.com. Yes, .com.
And they're not up on his website just at this moment, but they will be shortly. And through myself, I can take orders and arrange to ship the things to the books to the various people.
And you're on Facebook as Doug Thompson or Douglas?
Douglas Thompson.
No P?
No P. I'm a dry Thompson.
That's it. No P. I always remember that when I think of your name. So Douglas Thompson on Facebook.
Yes.
Are you on any other social medias?
Well, I have an email, which is SusanDoug47 @gmail.com.
.com. Okay. And the books are they being sold all together
You can buy the complete set.
for how much?
Well,
Do you know that yet?
I don't know that yet.
Okay. Or you can buy one.
Or you can buy
at a
them
time.
individually. If you're interested in manifestation, you can buy that.
Mm-hmm.
And that might interest you into buying the first book, which told you what manifestation was, and so forth. It is best if they read them in sequence for the whole set.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. Yeah.
But they just go into the nooks and crannies of your mind until you may need them in the future, the information.
Yeah, I like it. I like everything you've said. I like. Will they be available downstairs at Stone's?
Yes.
Okay, so downstairs at Stone's in their little local.
And the trading post, probably.
Okay.
The other thing I want to stress is they are not religious books. There is not a debate between the two. There is some discussion about where spirituality of the average person varies from spirituality of a person in a religion, or can vary. It doesn't necessarily mean it does. But they are not anti-religious or pro-religion.
You're not here to fight anybody.
No.
Is basically what you're saying. I understand that. I'm not religious. I am spiritual.
Yes,
And
that's
there's a
what
big
I
difference.
call myself.
Yes, exactly. Well, Doug, it's been a pleasure. If you can believe it, we've been talking for a half an hour. Get your books now. They are books 1 through 6, A New Way Forward by Doug Thompson with no P. We've talked about where you can get them. Thanks so much for being on the show again.
Thank you. It's a delight being here.
And next time you write something, you're going to let me know, and we're going to have you on again.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks so much for listening. We've been talking with author Doug Thompson, author of A New Way Forward series. Get them wherever you buy fine books. You've been listening on The Borderline. This is The Book Cover. I'm Lisa Tucker. And remember, don't judge a book by its cover.
Hi, this is Doug Thompson. I am the author of a 6-book series, A New Way Forward, a series discussing spirituality. They are available on Amazon, and you can get more information on my Facebook page, A New Way Forward. Check out my podcast on the book cover with Lisa Tucker, and that's available at theborderline.ca.